All right, everybody, we are back again. This is the Wide World of Raff on 93.7 The Ticket. We are actually on the road this week, so I'm not in studio, but we're still going to go over the Week 11 games of the NFL that'll be coming up on, I guess, Thursday. So we'll get started right away and we'll start looking at the games. Our first game that we have is on Thursday night. It is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. This game will be at 7:15 on Amazon Prime Video. This game's at the Ravens. Both teams are just coming off some just hard losses last week. You got the Bengals who played the Texans. They had their chances in that game. They might have spotted the Texans a little too much too early, but they made it a game there late. And then you also have the Baltimore Ravens, who the Ravens look like they had that game well in hand going into the fourth quarter. I think they're even up maybe as much as like 17 points, and the Ravens ended up not beating the Browns there. The Ravens, about Lamar Jackson and his success against these NFC teams, but these AFC teams are maybe his kryptonite here. And then you got the Bengals, Joe Burrow. You thought they'd finally like found their, I guess, their niche, or they found themselves. You thought the last couple of weeks up until last week with that disappointing loss to the Texans. But the Texans are playing really good football right now with C.J. Stroud. We talked about DeMeco Ryans being a great head coach early on in his career, but it's just one of those coaches that you see him right away and you're just like, yeah, this guy's going to be successful in the NFL. I am going to go with the it's a home game for the Ravens. Ravens always play really good at home, but I'm gonna ride with Joe Burrow. I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow. I think that it's going to be another week healthier for Jamar Chase. I know he had a long touchdown catch in that game, but he was nursing that sore back all week from the Monday night where he jumped up in the air and fell straight down on the small of his back. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I just think that they're sitting at 5-4 right now. If they don't, start picking up some wins, they're going to put themselves in a spot where the playoffs, could be questionable for them to get a wild card, because you got the Ravens at 7-3. That would push them to 8-3. Bengals, 5-5. And we're not late in the season yet. We're over halfway. We're in week 11, so you've got to start making your moves right now. So I'm going to go with the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase going to be, I think, just healthier. So I'm going to go with the Bengals there. All right, we'll move on to our next game. Our next game starts at noon. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. This is a noon start time. Both teams surprisingly 6-3. You got the Steelers 6-3. You got the Browns 6-3. You got the Steelers, whose offenses went 9 games now that they won, where they have not had more yards than the opposing team. And then you got the Cleveland Browns. You got Deshaun Watson. You got Amari Cooper. They're playing in the dog pound in Cleveland. It's always a tough place to play. I'm not sure if it's as tough as Municipal Stadium used to be. The old dog pound at the old stadium was insane. But we got Steelers and Browns. Steelers offense, I don't know what to say about that. You've got Kenny Pickett, you've got George Pickens, you've got Najee Harris, you got Jalen Warren, who's been kind of a surprise this year. He's kind of, to me, he's kind of been more productive than Najee Harris, but I think Najee's been showing a little bit of life here the last couple of weeks. Steelers and Browns, man, this is a tough game for me. Oh man, I've been going with the Steelers the last couple of weeks, and they've been winning. I am going to stick with the Steelers again, not for their offense. I think it's their defense. I think their defense will confuse Deshaun Watson. I know that's crazy to think that Deshaun, in his 4th or 5th year, but since he's been back from his suspension, it just seems like he's just not quite the Deshaun Watson that he once was. But he can always get hot, and if he does get hot and puts up a few points, that's going to put Pittsburgh in a very bad predicament, because Matt Canada's offense, they're kind of like the Iowa Hawkeyes that we always say of the I guess you could almost say that Nebraska. You could almost say that they're the Nebraska of the NFL too, because the offense just hasn't been all that productive. But I'm going to stick with the Steelers to go 7-3. The Browns, they play great defense, so I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game whatsoever. I think this is going to be one of those slugfests that you see between two division rivals. But I'm going with the Steelers. I'm sticking with them. This will be like 3 weeks in a row. AD, this is what I do. I do that for you. So Steelers to move to 7-3. All right, we'll move on to the next game. Our next game is at noon. This is on CBS. We've got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Houston Texans. The Texans, I think they are now probably the darlings of the NFL right now. You've got CJ Stroud, who's putting up mega numbers for a rookie quarterback. Then you've got the Cardinals got their quarterback back last week, Kyler Murray, playing a little bit of a magician there at the end of that game to pull out the victory for the Cardinals. And I think the Cardinals, they showed some life on offense with Kyler Murray. One of the things that I really was interested in checking out was the speed of Kyler Murray, because we all know how Kyler Murray has depended so much on his speed, throughout his young career. And it's always interesting to see when a quarterback comes back from a knee injury and not having that. I mean, he's had the full year to recover, but usually that first year they're maybe a little bit not as I don't know. Your knees there, I guess, that first year. And then that second year that you kind of forget about it and go back playing football. But from what Kyler Murray showed me on Sunday, he was moving around really well. He looked as quick as what he ever was. So I am going to go here, even though with Kyler Murray's mobility, I just don't think they have enough right now for the Texans. I think the Texans at home with CJ Stroud, with the coaching of D'Amico Ryans, they've got that team playing at a really good clip right now. But even more importantly, they're just so confident right now. That victory they got over the Bengals is going to go a long way, I think, for them. So I'm going to stick with the Texans here. D'Amico Ryans, CJ Stroud, my receiver, Tank Dell, I believe his name. I enjoy watching him play. So I'm going to go with Texans in Houston over the Cardinals. But I look for Kyler Murray to keep on, being really feisty there and continue to make strides in his comeback. It's good to have him back. I was afraid that maybe the Cardinals weren't going to play him this year and maybe hold him out the entire year just for salary cap reasons, and if they decided to release him. But it looks like he's there and he's playing. So hopefully he'll stay with the Cardinals and continue to build on the success that he's had early in his career. I know it's been kind of back and forth with him, but I still think he's got a lot of game, left in him. So we'll move on now to our next game. Our next game that we got is at noon also. This game's actually at Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not traveling to London or anything like that. They're back in Duval. So you've got the Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got the Titans. You got Will Levis, the young quarterback, struggled a little bit, but he's still got, D Hopkins there. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were absolutely embarrassed last week by the San Francisco 49ers. You thought being in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, they'd strung together, I think it was like three or four consecutive victories. They were playing really good football. You thought this was a time where Jacksonville was going to step up and show, basically the world that, hey, we're one of these contending football teams for a championship. But they fell flat on their face. The 49ers rolled all over Jacksonville last week. And then you got the Titans again. You got Derrick Henry. You got Levis. You got Hopkins. But I am going to go with Jacksonville. I know they played horrible last week, but sometimes a very bad game makes you sharper in practice the next week, makes you work harder, being embarrassed in the NFL is not a good thing. And I think that Trevor Lawrence, if this team is going to make a run in the postseason, they're sitting there at 6-3. If they're going to make a run this year, I think this is one of the games that Jacksonville needs. I think if Jacksonville loses this game to Tennessee, I could see Jacksonville, really swoon and not maybe make that run that a lot of people are expecting out of Trevor Lawrence. And the Travis Etienne's. And where's Calvin Ridley? That's another guy that he had a big first game back, but he's really not really been there much. And I want to see some more Calvin Ridley out of this team. You've got Zay Jones, but you need, and it was Flowers. You need Ridley to step up in a big way. So I continue to look for Ridley, and I think Ridley, maybe this will be the game where he will step up and make an impact on the ball game. All right, now we'll move on now to another 12 o'clock game. We have got the Las Vegas Raiders at 5-5 versus the Miami Super Jake Sorensen Dolphins at 6-3. You've got the Raiders and Dolphins. Man, a lot to say about this game. You got the Raiders, who fired their head coach 2 weeks ago. Josh McDaniels brought in the former New York Giants linebacker Antonio Pierce. He's got this Raiders team, playing some ball. They didn't really, show out a ton against the Jets on Monday night, but they got the win. And, that's the key thing. No matter if you win by 1, win by 20, win by 30, it don't matter. Get the win. And that's what the Raiders did. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And then you move on to the Dolphins at 6-3. The Dolphins coming off a bye week last week. I believe they had the bye. Don't quote me. Yeah, yes, they did. I'm sorry. They did have the bye last week. The Dolphins 6-3. But here's the thing with the 6-3 Dolphins. All of their wins have basically came against teams under 500. So I'm not sure with the Dolphins. And I know you people are going to step. They scored 70 points against Denver Broncos. I get that, but I believe that was just one of those games where it just got out of hand and things just continued to snowball in the Broncos. But I know the Dolphins are a good team. I know they got Tua, they got Tyreek Hill. I think Achan has just been slated to start practice again, so they started his 21-day window. So you look for him to return. Of course, they got Mostert. The Raiders, you got Jacobs. You got young Aiden O'Connell, out there leading the Raiders. Antonio Pierce has made it very clear that he wants Devontae Adams in the offense. They're going to throw the ball to him. Like you said, we don't pay him all this money not to throw him the ball. So you got the Raiders and the Dolphins in Miami, 12 o'clock. I am going to go with the Jake Sorensen Miami Dolphins. I know the Raiders have been playing some decent football, got a couple wins there. But I think Tyreek Hill is about ready to have one of those Tyreek Hill games. Maybe he goes for like 180 and a couple touchdowns. Tua has a big game. Look for Waddle maybe to do a little waddle in the end zone. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. Dolphins are running to 7-3. Bills fans looking on at home are like, oh man, another win. We're going to have to, start winning some games also. And the Raiders, 5-5. It's better than what I thought they would be at this point in the season. Big thanks to Antonio Pierce there for, rolling off a couple wins there. Now we'll move on to another 12 o'clock game. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. We got the 6-3 Cowboys against the 1-8 Carolina Panthers. We got Bryce Young versus Dak Prescott. Here's the deal. Most of these games, usually when a team plays really, really well the previous week, they kind of flatten out a little bit the next week. But the Cowboys, they played amazing against the Giants. Their starters were out of the game in about the middle of the third quarter. You got Carolina, you got the Panthers. They're young. They're just taking a lot of hard knocks right now, just being just such a young team. But I don't give up on Bryce Young. I know a lot of critics are out there saying he might be the worst quarterback drafted of this past year's draft, but I think you stick with Bryce Young. I think he's really going to put it together. You love his leadership. He's going to take his bumps, but I'll tell you what, you stick with Bryce Young. I think you're going to be okay, Carolina. Cowboys, Dak Prescott. You had CeeDee Lamb come out in the media and could say he's the top receiver in the NFL. Maybe hold back just a little bit there, CD. I don't know if you're the best receiver in the NFL. Are you in the top 4? I'd say you're probably in the top 4 now. You're playing some good football. Still waiting for that big Tony Pollard game. Tony Pollard, he's there. He's contributing a little bit, but it's not really been a Tony Pollard-led Dallas Cowboy offense that a lot of people kind of thought might happen. The defense, Cowboys, as long as you got Micah Parsons, he's gonna make sure that you're in every game. However, the Cowboys took a bit of a hit. I saw today. Leighton Vander Esch is out for the season, and that's a big hit to the Cowboys linebacking crew. Vander Esch is a leader on that defense. They've already lost Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon, he basically just makes his presence felt now on Twitter by telling his brother that he needs to leave Buffalo, which I just think is kind of just I think you just have to worry about yourself and your own team. I understand he's your brother, but putting those tweets out, it's just not a good look for the family, And if I'm Stephon Diggs, I think it's one of those times where you're just like, hey, bro, I appreciate your support, but hey, let's no tweeting about me. You can tweet about your comeback and how you're rehabbing and stuff like that. But here I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I know they played great last week. Sometimes, I talked about a letdown game, but I just think the Cowboys just have too much firepower, and that'll run the Cowboys up to 7-3 for the year if they get the win. Panthers, 1-9, they'd probably be going for that first round draft pick, but you got to remember that the Bears hold their pick, so they're playing for the Bears first round draft pick. But I'm going with the Cowboys here. I think the Cowboys run it to 7-3. Pete Ferguson will be happy another week, and you got to keep Pete happy. So let's go Cowboys. We'll run it to 7-3. All right, we will move on now. We got another 12 o'clock game. We got the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions, one of the oldest matchups in the history of the NFL. Bears, Lions. You got the Bears with is it going to be Tyson Bagent or is it going to be Justin Fields? As of right now, they're not sure who the quarterback is going to be. I saw Justin Fields is doing some light throwing on Monday, but I'm not sure what they're going to do. I'm going to say that they're going to err on the side of caution with Justin Fields. So if he has any lingering effects of his injury, I think Tyson Bagent will be your quarterback again. I don't think it's going to matter one way or the other which quarterback is playing in the game. You're going against the 7-2 Detroit Lions. Matt Campbell, they got the win against the Chargers on Sunday. They got things rolling right now in Detroit. Campbell, Jared Goff, the running game. You had Jahmyr Gibbs the prior week played excellent. And then now you come back the next week. David Montgomery has a 75-yard touchdown run. You got Amon St. Brown. You've got Nick Sainert, Detroit Lions playing some good football right now. On the defense, you've got Hutchinson. You got some players on that defense. So I'm going to go with the Lions at home. I just don't think the Bears have enough with either quarterback. I think the Lions get the win here. Lions go to 8-2. I mean, right now, if you're the Lions, you're thinking maybe home field advantage for the entire playoffs. I mean, can you imagine that? Detroit Lions home field advantage in Detroit, and you got those teams like the 49ers and the Eagles, because you look at it, the 49ers, they ran into a little rough spell there. I mean, they made a great bounce back last week, but then you look at the Eagles. The Eagles, they got the Cowboys, I believe, again. They got some chances where they're going to drop some games. You look at the Lions schedule, it's not all that tough when you're in that NFC Central. I mean, you got Packers, Bears, Vikings. Vikings have been playing decent with Josh Dobbs, but you just don't know how long that's going to last, just for the consistency of it. But I just think right now the Lions are in command of the NFC, which if you thought I would have said that at the beginning of the year, I mean, I had them moving up to second, and then they dropped a weird one at the beginning of the year. But we got the Lions right now, firmly in command of the NFC, which not firm, but I mean, they're there. Their schedule says that they run the NFC right now for home field advantage. So we'll find out how that all plays out. All right, we will move on now to the 12 o'clock game. We got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Green Bay Packers. You got the Chargers and the Packers. The Chargers last week played decent. Lions got them. Packers, I just don't know what the Packers right now. I think the question they've got is Jordan Love. They've got to keep on study in and figure out, is Jordan Love the quarterback of their future? I think that is the most important thing for the Packers this year. The Chargers, they're just the Chargers. They've got, Justin Herbert. He's a stat machine. He's going to put up a lot of yardage, a lot of touchdowns. Kind of reminds me a little bit, I hate to say it, but a little bit of that Kirk Cousins. Like, he's going to give you a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, but he might not get you the win. But this week, I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Packers. I just think they're going to have too much offense for the Packers, and the defense. The Chargers defense. You've got you've got some players. You got the Boses. You got the Khalil Macks. You got the Derwin Jameses. You've got some players on that defense. I just feel like the Chargers are always kind of that team every year. They kind of just did not live up to the expectations of the talent that they have on the team, and that does not bode well for their coach Brandon Staley. I have to think that he is coaching for his job right now for next year. He's going to have to, get a playoff win. I think a playoff win at minimum for the Chargers this year to keep his job. If not, I could see the Chargers moving on. And then the Packers, like I said, they've got to figure out what they're going to do with Jordan Love. Is he the quarterback of the future? And if he is, they're going to have to go out and they're going to have to get some. They're going to have to get some help in that receiving core. We've been saying that for like the last 6 to 10 years, that the Packers need to have some help on receiving. Even when they had Devontae Adams, they had nothing really across from him. Randall Cobb was aging, but we'll see how that all plays out there in Green Bay. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, now we'll move on now to the 12 o'clock game between the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders, a classic NFC East battle. You got the Giants at 2-8, who are fledgling. You had Tommy DeVito start for the Giants last week. You got the Commanders at 4-6. They play some good football every once in a while, but then they don't play. Then they don't. They're kind of like the Nebraska weather. Well, with the old Nebraska weather. Now it's always 69, 72, and sunny in Nebraska. But you've got the Giants and the Commanders. Giants are fledgling. I mean, their season, I think, is a loss. You got Saquon, DeVito, Wandale. The Commanders, you got Sam Howell. Are we sold on Sam Howell yet? Is he the future of the Commanders? It's going to be interesting to see. That's another team that is keeping a close eye on their quarterback not race, but just their quarterback to see if he is the future of the team. And then you also got Brian Robinson at running back, McLaurin at receiver. The defense of the Commanders is actually, I thought, maybe would take a step down, just being that they lost Sweat and Chase Young, but the Commanders, defense is still, playing fairly good. In this game, I'm going with the Commanders over the Giants. I don't see nothing for the Giants. I feel like I said, their season, I think, is over. I think now you're just playing on what you're going to do next year. Like, do you reminding you that they signed Daniel Jones for a lot of money, like $40 million a year. Is he your future? I mean, the Giants, if you would have asked this question at the beginning of last year, you would have been like, hey, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, he's the future of this organization. But the NFL is not for long. And what have you done for me lately? And Daniel Jones being injured and having the subpar year that he had before he was injured. Now, if you're the Giants, are you looking at a quarterback in the draft this year? So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the Giants and if they can keep Saquon happy. I mean, Saquon's not a happy camper right now. He's about winning, and the Giants are not doing that. Commanders, same boat. And then you got to look at the Commanders like, Coach Rivera, they're at 4-6 right now. They need to get some wins for him because there's going to come a time where that new ownership, and realize he's got the new ownership group in Washington, led by, the Magic Johnson group. And he's not the coach they selected. So you're going to see he's going to put up some wins to, convince this ownership group to keep him at the end of the year, because a lot of ownership groups like to bring in your own guy. So we'll see how this plays out as the year progresses. So, all right, what we'll do now is we will send this to break, and then we will be right back. This is the Wide World of Raff on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah?
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah?
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
All right, everybody. We are back again. This is the Wide World of Raff on 93.7 The Ticket. We are covering the NFL like we always do every week, going over each game, talking about a little bit about the prior week, more about the future, the upcoming week. Really appreciate everybody that joins us every week and listens in. Means a ton. Appreciate all the Raffs roadies out there. You guys are the best. You girls are the best. You're always welcome on this show. You ever want to text in, call in? I know this week I'm not in studio, but future weeks you're more than welcome to call in, text in. You got the 402-464-5685. You got the Sartor Raymond hotline. You got every possible way to contact us. And like I said, I'm always available for you guys. Follow me on Twitter, ChrisRaff7. You follow me, I definitely follow y'all. I'll follow y'all back. That's just the way I play it. I totally, enjoy getting follows from all you guys, and I definitely want to give you guys a follow back. So I appreciate y'all, and thanks again for joining us on the Wide World of Raff. So we'll move on to the next game. We just got through talking about the Giants and Commanders before the commercial. Now we're going to move on to the next game. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is at, I wanted to say Candlestick Park, but I'll say Levi's Stadium. And what is it? I forgot. We're out in California. It's not San Francisco. It's the little, the Bay Town. What is it? Somebody can help me there. But we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of Baker Mayfield going up against the San Francisco 49ers. This is a 3:05 kickoff. This is our first late game. We got the Buccaneers, 49ers. The 49ers coming off an absolute, they kicked a lot of butt. That's all you can say. They went down to Jacksonville after a bye week. They got healthy. They got some Deebo Samuel back. They did some thinking. You had Brock Purdy out on the combine. You had Brock Purdy in an Iowa football game. They kind of reset things, went back to the drawing board. We know that Christian McCaffrey, he did not score a touchdown for the first time in 17 games, which was kind of a shocker. But like you said, everybody else scored. So you've got the Bucks, you got Baker Mayfield. They're sitting at 4-5. Tampa Bay's another organization. Is Baker Mayfield your future? I mean, he hasn't really lived up to maybe the Baker Mayfield expectations that he sets upon himself, but he's got his team, close to 500. This would be a huge win. This would be one of those wins for Baker Mayfield if he could somehow get the victory over the 49ers. That might be the one that puts him on the map as the future of Tampa Bay quarterbacking. But then you got the 49ers, you got Brock Purdy, you got Christian McCaffrey, you've got the defense with every single blitzer known to man. They come in waves, and then you got Fred Warner who's back in the defensive lineup. I mean, these guys, they're loaded, and they're set to win now. Now it's just a matter of them following through with that. I'm going to go with the 49ers here. I just don't think Tampa Bay is going to have enough, especially at Levi's Stadium, to make a run at the 49ers. I think the 49ers, this is where they go on a little bit of their run here, where I know they dropped 3 games in a row. They got one last week, but I think this is where they probably make their run to the postseason. The 49ers is just going to be a dangerous team. I mean, you look at that offense, you got Ayuk, you got Deebo, you got Kittle, you got Christian McCaffrey, and you got Brock Purdy, who, Brock Purdy, even in the defeats, he still played, I mean, not great football, but he was not losing. He was not losing the games for his team. And that's one of the things that you like to see out of a young quarterback, that even though they did not get those wins and it was upsetting, it wasn't, Brock Purdy's fault where they looked at it and said, hey, it's the quarterback's fault. I think the 49ers are locked in at quarterback. I think they're ready to ride with Brock Purdy. And I think what you need to really look forward to now is to see what Deebo Samuel gives you in production. He's been injured. He hasn't took a lot of big hits this year, so you got to think if the injuries subside for him, he's on some he's pretty healthy. He's not as banged up as what he usually is at this time of the year. So I look for Deebo Samuel to have a big game in this game. I look for the 49ers to beat the Buccaneers. But if somehow, some way, Baker Mayfield magic prevails, look for him to make huge strides in becoming that future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, now we'll move on to the next game. This is an interesting matchup. We got the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo at 3:25. Jets and Bills. Now, this is one of your AFC East, rivalries. You've got the Jets, you've got Zach Wilson, who Coach Salah said that Zach Wilson's his quarterback. Can't really give reasons why. Says he's played all right, and he didn't play too bad last week. And then against the Raiders, but he didn't get the win, and that's just one of those games that you've got to get. Then you've got the Buffalo Bills. Oh boy, the Buffalo Bills. It was just announced earlier this week that Ken Dorsey, offensive coordinator for the Bills, is no longer. On a short week. Playing on Monday night, of course, against the Broncos. The Broncos got the win. Go Broncos. Throwing it out there. But you got the Jets and the Bills. Bills on the short week here and firing their offense coordinator. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the Bills. They need something to get this team kick-started. I don't think that it's a matter of talent on this offense. I really think the Bills have a really good offense. I mean, you've got Cook. You got Josh Allen, you got Stephon Diggs, you've got Gabe Davis, you've got some players in there tight end. That's his name's slipping my mind right now. Not Kincaid. Oh man, why am I forgetting this? But you've got these and Dawson Knox. I don't know where he's at this year, but you've got a really good offense. But what's hampering this offense is, does anybody know the word I'm going to say? I don't know if I should even say it in Nebraska. Turnovers. Interceptions, like Peyton Manning always says, every interception has a story. There were some stories. There was a couple bad throws by Josh Allen on Monday night, but there were also some catches that his receivers got to make. Like Troy Aikman said, they know Josh Allen throws hard. You're going to get a crisp, hard football when Josh Allen throws. And that's more to this game. What is the weather going to be like in Buffalo? We're at that time of the year. You're playing a 3:25 game in Buffalo. You might be getting snow. You might be getting winds. You're going to get some cold temperatures. That's just the way it plays out in Buffalo. So the weather's going to play a factor into this game. Now you look at the Jets. Now the Jets are this is very interesting for the Jets here because the Jets are 4-5. And right now, if I was a guessing man, I would say that Aaron Rodgers is wanting to come back sometime middle of December. There's been talk of December 28. He showed like a watch where it said 12/28. But here's the deal. The Jets have got to be in a playoff race. If the Jets are not in playoff contention come middle of December, Aaron Rodgers is not stepping on the field this year. It doesn't matter if he's throwing the ball 70 yards and can run under a 5-flat 40. He is not stepping on the field. So right now, all the pressure in the world falls on this New York Jets offense and Zach Wilson. He has got to start producing because if he plays the Jets out of playoff contention, you will not see Aaron Rodgers until the beginning of next year. And the Jets are keeping an eye on this. And this would be very upsetting for this Jets team because they came in this year thinking that this was, their time to shine. This was their time to, make moves on the NFL. And then we go back to the Bills. Josh Allen just got to eliminate turnovers. James Cook, same way, explosive. Averaged over 10 yards a carry on Monday night against the Broncos. But even on his long run, he did fumble. He was able – it doesn't happen all the time where the ball bounces up straight to you on a fumble like that when it's punched out. But the Bills have got to figure out what they're going to do on offense to eliminate the turnovers. It'll be interesting to see also how they handle the play calling responsibilities because McDermott, he is a defensive-minded coach, so we'll see if they keep the rest of Dorsey staff and just elevate somebody up to play calling, or if they decide to bring somebody in, which, that's always a possibility, but I would think they'll stay within the organization there. So I guess I got to make a selection. I got the Jets and the Bills. Jets at 4-5, Bills at 5-5. I am going to select the Buffalo Bills, and the reason why I'm going to select the Buffalo Bills on this is Josh Allen. If he is going to be known as one of the top quarterbacks, echelon quarterbacks in the NFL, he needs to win this game, or else. At the beginning of the year, we were talking about Josh Allen as being maybe one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he loses that spot if they don't get to the playoffs this year. There's just too many great young quarterbacks out there right now that you can't keep just leaving him in this spot with the turnovers he's had. And I know he's got all the intangibles. He's got a cannon for an arm. I would say probably the strongest arm in the NFL. He still runs the ball. He's still a big boy. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, it's a what have you done for me lately league. I think we've said that earlier. So I look for Josh Allen to have a good game. Hopefully the weather holds up in Buffalo, or maybe it'll be a blizzard. But anyway, anyhow, the Bills have got to take care of business. So I got the Bills in this one over the Jets. And then that'll roll the Jets to 4-6. And, man, let me tell you, people are going to start realizing here real quick that it's not a given the Jets to get to the Super Bowl this year. Oh, wow, I didn't say that. It's not a given for the Jets to get to the playoffs, because a lot of people have been looking at this going, hey, we get to mid-December, Aaron Rodgers comes back, we go roll into the playoffs. Well, if they're already eliminated from the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers will be out in California. He will not even be showing up for games on Sunday to do warm-up throws. He'll just call it a season and say, we'll see you in training camp next year. All right. Now we are going to move on to the let's go. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry about that. We're going to move on to I almost said we were forgetting the Sunday night game, but I forgot there's a certain team playing on Sunday night next week. So we'll get to them at the end of the show. We're going to move on to another 3:25 game. We have got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. This game is in Los Angeles at SoFi, and you got the Seattle Seahawks at 6-3. Kind of a surprising. Are they surprising? It's hard to say. They haven't really went out and wowed anybody. You don't hear many people talking about the Seahawks this year. You've got the 12s up there in Seattle. My guy Rob Jones is there every week cheering on his 12s. And then you got the Rams, who I'll tell you what, the Rams have kind of let me down this year. I really thought that the defense, with Aaron Donald, and then you had the return of Stafford, and then you found a receiver in Pakua, and you match him up with Cooper Kupp. They just really haven't got anything really going. They're 3-6, just kind of fledgling in the water. And this is one of those games for the Seahawks. This is a must-win for the Seahawks, because you see how the 49ers are really starting to, take off, so to say. So you've got to look at this, and you got to be like, all right, we get this win over the Rams, gets us to 7-3, keeps us, right there neck and neck with the 49ers. The Seahawks need this game. So I am going to select, I'm gonna go with this one more time. I know I'm probably making a mistake by doing this, but I'm going with the Rams one more time. I don't know why I do this. The Seahawks, they win, but they just don't overly impress me. They've got Kenneth Walker, makes some big plays out of the backfield. But and DK Metcalf at the end of the game on Sunday, made some huge catches. But I'm going to go with the Rams. I believe in Pakua. I believe in Cooper Kupp. I believe in Matt Stafford. I think they're going to get it done. I think they're going to shock some people this week. I'm going with the Rams at home over the Seahawks in the 12s. I'm sorry, Rob. I let you down by making that selection, but you're going to have to forgive me some way, somehow. So, all right. Now we're going to move on to quite possibly is the game of the week. On Monday Night Football, we have got a rematch of Super Bowl 57. We have got the Philadelphia Eagles versus Nick Sirianni's Philadelphia Eagles versus Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium at 7:15 on ESPN. This is the game of the week. You got 8-1 Eagles for 7-2 Chiefs, rematch of the Super Bowl. This is going to be a fun game. And I'm glad that it's on U.S. soil, because that Dolphins-Chiefs game that was supposed to be at Arrowhead in Miami, I love that they're spreading the game, but you can't have Chiefs-Dolphins in Germany. That's one of those games that needed to be at Arrowhead Stadium. Arrowhead Stadium, Monday night, it's going to be rocking. I'm guessing probably the mayor of Kansas City will let all the kids out of school that day so they can get all ready to go. Did I just say that? So, yeah, if the mayor of Kansas City's listening tonight, you probably want to put out just something saying that everybody does not have to work or go to school on Monday. Eagles, you got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, DeAndre Swift. You got the potentially world's sexiest man, Jason Kelsey, on the line. You got former Husker. Oh, why am I forgetting it? Beef Jerky. You got Cam Jerky. You got Beef Jerky. And then you go to the Chiefs. You got number 15. And as long as you got number 15, you've always got a chance. And then you got Mr. number 87, Travis Kelsey. You got that tight end there. But the thing with the Chiefs, though, is their receivers have got to step up big in this game. You look at the Chiefs. They've got Rashidi Rice, and then you've got McKinnon, and you've got Merco Hardman. He's back in Kansas City. Valdez Scantling. Sorry about that, Chiefs fans. And then you've got players here. Man, this is a tough call for me. We got the Eagles versus the Chiefs in Kansas City. Man, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. And the reason why I'm going to do this is I think the Chiefs might be a tad bit more battle tested, and they're coming off a loss to the Broncos. So usually a bye week and a loss, and you've heard about Andy Reid off bye weeks, it's pretty incredible, his record that he has off bye weeks. So I think Patrick Mahomes is going to want to prove to the NFL that he's still there and he's still the man, because if the Eagles get this game, that rolls them up to 9-1. I know I was talking about the Lions, having command on home field advantage, but it's still the Eagles, even though they will play a tougher schedule than the Lions the rest of the way. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I think Patrick Mahomes. It'll be interesting to see, how Travis Kelsey responds. Maybe he has jet lag. We'll see how it all plays out. And I think Arrowhead is going to be crazy on Monday night. They're going to have all day. Like I said, if the mayor of Kansas City's listening, just give everyone off the day of work, and we'll see how it all plays out. But this is definitely a game that I'll be watching just to see, how the Chiefs hold up against the Eagles defense, how the Eagles hold up against Patrick Mahomes. And is this a preview of the Super Bowl? It might be. If you'd say who are the best teams in probably the AFC and NFC right now, you'd probably go Eagles and Chiefs. So maybe this is a preview of another Super Bowl. I don't think there has been a rematch. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. There has been the Bills and the Cowboys. They rematched it out a couple years, but we'll see what happens. And once again, it'll be crazy in Chiefs world. So what we'll do right now is we're going to throw it to break, and then we'll be right back on the wide world of Raff. We have one game left, and maybe we can look at some divisions. So we'll throw it to break. This is the wide world of Raff, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sauter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
All right, everybody, we're back again. This is the Wide World of Rap on 93.7 The Ticket, and we're looking at the National Football League and the games that are going on for this next week. We're already on week 11. Can you believe that? It is week 11 already in the National Football League, and we got one final game to look at for tonight. And that is the Sunday night football game on NBC. We have got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Denver Broncos at Empower Field in Denver at Mile High Stadium. You've got the Phenom, the two-game player. I guess he didn't start his first game at Minnesota, but you've got Josh Dobbs facing up against number 3 from the Broncos, Russell Wilson. You've got Chris Collinsworth. You've got Mike Tirico. You've got NBC there in Denver. Denver coming off probably one of their biggest wins of the season, definitely their biggest road win of the season. And you've got the Vikings, who the Vikings, hey, don't know how they're doing it, but they're there. They're at 6-4. They're right on the heels of the Lions. They've got Josh Dobbs, their quarterback. They had KJ Osborne. He was out with the concussion last week. You've got Jefferson, who we're not sure when he's going to be back. You've got to think these wins are going to push him into playing. But like he said, he wants to be at 100% before he returns back to the Vikings. So we're not sure if you're going to have Jefferson back on Sunday night. You got the Broncos, who are just playing, just really good defense right now, mixing it in with a tough running game. The running game is not flashy by no means. I think they only averaged like maybe 3.7 yards a carry last week. Russell Wilson just making some big third down plays. And once again, nothing super flashy out of him. Going into the late fourth quarter, he was only averaging like 3.4 yards per downfield pass, which is the least of his career. But you just got this scrappy Broncos team who's really starting to believe that they can win football games. And when you get that belief and you get that locker room and you get that galvanization of that locker room, a lot of cool things begin to happen. The Broncos at 4-5, they get this win here. They roll up to 5-5, makes them 500 on the season after a 1-5 start. This is going to be an interesting game in Denver. Denver's got to, make sure they defend against the letdown, because they played a big game against Buffalo. That was a huge game for them, and I'm sure there was a lot of celebrating going on that plane coming back from Buffalo. But Denver's just got to make sure that, hey, nothing's accomplished yet. Everything is still out there for them, sitting at 4-5, but you've got to continue to win football games. I am going to select here the Broncos, and the reason why I'm going to select the Broncos is I think Denver will have the advantage on defense here, to where they can take Patrick Surtain if Jefferson plays. And right now, Surtain's shutting down everybody. Stephon Diggs had 3 catches, 34 yards on Monday night. I just think Patrick Surtain, the second, is the best cornerback in football. And it's huge for Denver's defense, to where they can take him and man him up against somebody and take him out of the game completely. I would assume if Jefferson does not play, then I say Addison probably gets taken out of the game by Patrick Surtain, and that's huge for Denver. Denver just needs to be effective in the red zone. There was a lot of trips where they went across the 50-yard line with the Dolphins where they did not produce, and that definitely needs to be remedied, and they need to score some more points. But I'm going to go with the Broncos with the victory on Sunday Night Football to get them to 5-5, and then it'll be interesting to see the world really start to take notice of the Broncos and be like, well, maybe they're a little bit better than what we gave them credit for. I mean, 1-5, there wasn't much credit going on, but Denver's got some players. They got some young defenders, Jonathan Cooper, Baron Browning, that they bring a lot of heat off the edge. So it'll be fun to watch the Broncos on Sunday night. So, all right, everybody, this concludes the Wide World of Raff. I really enjoyed you guys listening once again. Remember to catch the drive every Monday through Friday. We always love hearing from you. Have a great night, and we will talk to you next week. This has been the Wide World of Raff on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No